Now I'll talk about the kinds of expression and vocabulary that are typically used in HCI introductions. First, we often see some frequently used words such as interaction, user, system, design, evaluate, study, method, challenge, gap, and opportunity. These are quite general academic words, but they appear again and again because they describe the core elements of HCI research. In contrast, we also find jargons or technical terms that only make sense within the HCI community. Example includes affordance, heuristic, usability evaluation, user-centric design, and cognitive load. Abbreviations are also very common, such as HCI for human-computer interaction, UX for user experience, UI for user interface, and AR or VR for augmented and virtual reality. We also see terms that refer to methodologies such as field study, user study, mixed methods, qualitative and quantitative. These terms create a shared vocabulary among researchers in the field. Next, let's look at how paragraphs are written in introductions. Typically, a paragraph is 3 to 6 sentences long. The first paragraph, which sets up the background, and the last paragraph, which introduces the contribution, are often longer and denser. The middle paragraph usually focuses on summarizing prior works, highlighting the research gap, and raising research questions. Each paragraph usually develops one clear idea. And overall, the logical sequence that most HCI paper introduction follows is first the background, and then the problem, and then the prior work, then the research gap, and finally the contribution. This flow helps readers understand not only what paper is about, but also why the research is necessary. Let's now move on to sentence types. First of all, simple sentences are often used for clear statement or definitions. For example, this paper investigates user interactions in augmented reality systems. Complex sentence includes subordinate clauses with words like because, while, since, or if. For example, while prior work focused on system performance, fewer studies examine user experience. Compound complex sentences are longer and often used when comparing prior work or discussing limitations. For instance, although early studies have investigated mobile usability, they primarily examined efficiency and they did not address emotional engagement, which is critical for adoption. Authors combine these sentence types to keep the introduction both clear and engaging. Finally, let's consider the voice. Active voice is preferred when presenting the study's purpose, contribution, or methods. For example, thus, we propose Telehopper, a system that enhances the teleportation experience. This sounds strong and direct. Passive voice is more common when describing background knowledge or prior work. For example, teleportation is one such virtual locomotion method designed for user to point a controller. Here, the focus is on the method itself, not on who designed it. In general, HCI introductions prefer active voice for clarity, but passive voice is strategically used when the actor is not important or when summarizing widely accepted findings. To sum up, HCI introductions make use of repeated words and specialized jargons. They follow a fairly consistent paragraph structure, and they mix different sentences types and voice depending on the purpose. The Telehopper case shows that how these conventions work in practice. Thank you.